yo.
Yes, sir. What's up, guys?
Yes. This DJ will kick the floor in 3, 2, 1.
On the troll.
Uthi nje qi ngapha thatha abantu yakuthi uyayiva ke ngoku uyayiva. Okay, greetings to our audience, greetings to our family. We greet you. It's time for us to give you an update, and I know that some of you are sleepy, but unfortunately, this is how we should do it. Anywhere around, there is no other way as yet. Tata pantu yakuthi Emily, greet our people and take us to this whole story, whole movie, because it's a movie. We must credit the editors and also credit the producers. This is the story.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Mzansi Reality YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining us yet again for another coverage on the Senzo Meyiwa trial. Okay, today is Wednesday, the 1st of November 2023, and what happened in court today is quite interesting. Before I forget, guys, don't forget to press that like button and also comment, leave your comment. And if you're not subscribed yet to the channel, what are you waiting for? Subscribe and share this video with everyone else who you know who's interested in this case.
So when you see us starting late, you are probably counting the likes.
So the defense cross-examined the witness Jabulani Buthelezi, the officer who arrested accused number 1 Muzisbia in Tembisa on the 30th of May 2023 and transported him to a local hostel, Forslorus, Ayrton and Pretoria. So Baloyi started by apologizing for the late start. He said that accused number 4 was late from prison, so his transportation and his movement from prison was late. So Baloyi said Buthelezi finalized the examination in chief yesterday, but wanted to ask further questions about documents which he received this morning. The state clarified some aspects of Buthelezi's evidence in chief from yesterday, and this was in relation to when he mentioned that the accused had to appear before a court not more than 74 hours. Okay, he had actually said, 72 hours, but he said 74 hours following his arrest instead of 48 hours, so he was correcting that this morning. Remember, guys, how dizzy I was yesterday, asking myself, 74 hours since when? So today he corrected himself. He's like, okay, I need to, from the record, please remove that. Instead of 74 hours, put 48 hours. As well as the fact that investigating officer was present when he read the accused his rights. So he had not mentioned an investigating officer being present while he was reading the accused rights. In fact, he prided himself with the fact that he was the one who read accused number 1 their rights and even interpreted them for him, but no mention of the investigating officer being present. So today he was adding that. But I was like, after hearing Mshololo's cross-examination and the fact that this Sergeant Mohola is the one who's on the rights, the statement of rights, what do they call it, section 214A of accused number 1 while he was getting arrested. It's Sergeant Mohola who appeared. Buthelezi did not sign that document. So I kind of understood why he did that earlier on. And also for the fact that accused number 1, he had testified yesterday that accused number 1 wanted to change from wearing cavelas into wearing flip-flops. So today he says no, he wanted to change from wearing flip-flops to wearing cavela, a pair of cavelas, and apparently they were red. He said that the accused said that he was going to get cold, so he wanted closed shoes instead of flip-flops. Yeah, that's basically the changes that he made. And the state concluded. So Advocate Tulani Mgomezulu started the cross-examination of the witness. Buthelezi had also corrected his evidence that the accused was wearing red Cavella shoes when he was arrested, which he now says were flip-flops. He said he was wearing flip-flops and wanted to change into Cavella shoes. So Baloyi then asked, did any of you participate in any assault? The defense for accused 1 and 2 said accused version is that Buthelezi was part of an alleged electrocution of accused number 2. So Buthelezi said that was not true. He said he was not inside Moroka police station. So Mgomezulu started with his cross-examination, and he started off by asking, as you were trying to locate the whereabouts of the suspect, you said he was located by his clothing. I was under the impression that they had a picture. They knew who they were looking for. But today it's kind of changed. It seemed like Buthelezi was saying that they were looking for an outfit, that they were briefed that the accused or the person they were looking for was wearing a certain clothing. So Buthelezi then asked, and the place where he was. And Buthelezi said yes. Mgomezulu asked, you just made a correction on the shoes he was wearing. These people who you were spotted in the yard, were they not 3? And Buthelezi said they were 2. I remember from the time Ramusipili read accused number 3's story or narrated it. Remember, it's been narrated for the second time. Ramusipili once did it before. And he said that there were 3 of them. So now Buthelezi is saying there were only 2, which is quite interesting. And the other 2 were let go according to accused number 1's version. And Buthelezi is saying that they let go of the other person and only kept accused number 1. So who's lying? Who's telling the truth? What is going on? So Buthelezi then said there were 2, and Mgomezulu said, my instruction is that there were 3. Buthelezi said maybe he forgot they were 2. I'm going to need those 2 to come and testify. In my opinion, I don't know what you guys think, but I'm going to need for them to make an appearance as witnesses. I need clarity on that. So Mgomezulu said, Mgomezulu interrogated Buthelezi on the tactics that he used to arrest Sibia, which he said is a tactical takedown. Now remember yesterday I had trouble with this tactical takedown that he described. So Mgomezulu cross-examined him on it, which he said is used to confuse a person during an arrest. And Mgomezulu asked, how long does it leave the person confused? And Buthelezi said, it depends on the person. Mgomezulu asked, and can it instill an element of fear in a person? Because that's also what I wanted to kind of point out yesterday, that this tactical takedown does not sound like it's meant to it doesn't sound very, it sounds like harsh. It sounds like you are an animal being hunted in the wild. It sounds very harsh, but then is it not meant to, let's say you are innocent or we are sugelwa and this tactical takedown is being used upon you. I mean, how would you react? How would you react? And he says it's meant to create confusion. So how would you react? Then Buthelezi said, like I said, it depends on the person. Mgomezulu said that his instructions are that 1, Sibia was handcuffed, lying face down, and he was lifted up with the handcuffs. Buthelezi said those are lies. Amang al-hlaza lao. Reminded me of somebody. Reminded me of somebody who was testifying and who was at the house when Senzo Meyiwa unfortunately died. So, amang al-hlaza lao. That was the chorus of the day. So he would have been injured. That's what he said. And he said they helped him get up by his belt. So he says they helped him get up by his belt. So they lifted him by his belt to get up. So Buthelezi denied that the accused was taken to Lethabong where he was assaulted. Mgomezulu continued to say, my instruction is that there were about 5 people who were in civilian clothes and more or less 8 police officers in uniform at Lethabong. And Buthelezi said those are lies. Mgomezulu then said, and after he was assaulted at Lethabong, he messed himself up. Buthelezi said, I have no knowledge of that. Well, we don't know whether he peed or did a number 2 when they refer to he messed himself up, but I'll assume that he did a number 1. He peed on himself, which reminded me of Mtogo's testimony, okay? I got reminded instantly of Mtogo Zisitwala's testimony, especially on the police part. He said he had also messed himself up, didn't he?
I did.
And I'm just speculating here, but I'm wondering, what if the Buthelezi that tortured Mtogo is this one?
It would fit the story.
Did Mtogo have any physical injuries on his body after the torturing he went through in 2018? His torturing also did not happen in a cell. It was in an office. He said Pretoria, right? Mtogo said it was Joyce Buthelezi's office. Now we have to ask ourselves, does Joyce Buthelezi have an office in Pretoria?
And if he does, at the time these things happen, remember, she was not rolling alone at the time. I think
She
everything
did
was still
not do
intact.
it.
Yes.
According to Mtogo, Mtogo said that she made other police officers do it, according to his testimony.
I doubt that she had anything to do with it. I doubt that she was. If it happened, she was probably ambushed.
The way he spoke so passionately about what had happened to him on that night alone, there's a similar pattern here. That's if indeed accused number 1
There
did
is a
mess
similar
himself
pattern.
up. There's definitely a similar pattern here. So Mgomezulu then asked,
Look, the story of Mtogo, if you ask me, and if we were to speak freely, it fits this current team of investigation. Because
It
maybe
does.
if we speak in parable, people won't understand.
won't understand what we're trying to say.
It fits this
It does.
current team. Do you understand?
Yes.
And then maybe same as these people were made to make confession allegedly, then he was told how he was supposed to tell his story and
And
change it
Mtogo
around
Mtogo said he was
to
told to
actually make sure that the other investigators are taken out of the picture. And how much more how would you actually hurt a police by alleging such things were done by that police? So therefore, it becomes now an issue of why would you do that to someone who's here to testify?
And also I remember Sfiso actually mentioning it, that allegedly in that interview he did with ENCA, we covered it on the channel, we reviewed it. He mentioned that Mtogo and Tumelo were taken in that year 2018 somewhere.
Do you understand?
And that's what kind of changed the game.
It changed everything. Yes. And when was the statement stolen, allegedly?
Around
That time.
that time.
Okay, so now do you see now the patterns?
So
So,
it's
I mean, honestly speaking, if you
giving
look at what
similar
happened,
features.
and you hear how Togo and this guy were sounding rehearsed, it seemed, for me, someone had something on them. It didn't seem genuine. Emotions would boil, and now and then they would, you'd feel that yes, there are a bit of emotions and a bit of remorse, but you're in a situation where you cannot say anything otherwise. That's my own opinion.
Yeah.
So the torturing and how they are narrating the torturing, it looks like it's one hand, and it sounds like it's one hand.
Yeah, and how it started
I
2018.
wouldn't be surprised if 2018 there was no meeting with Joyce Buthelezi in Pretoria.
Hey, like the way
I wouldn't be
2018
surprised if it
started
was
in-
actually the other
It
way
wasn't
around.
happening in 2014. It definitely didn't happen in 2015, 2016, 2017.
It was a smooth. No one in the house is crying about this thing.
Not even the people.
Around
that
2014,
were in the
2015,
house.
2016, the investigation at the time, the only thing they're crying about is that why are they not looking the other? In
Somewhere
fact,
else.
even their talk was all
Yes.
about that. Why
are they not looking
no one
somewhere
went to
else?
TV and said, in fact, they are even harassing us,
They
torturing us.
They electrocuted us.
No one said that.
They put plastic bags over our heads. They chewed
So from
us.
2018 going forward, then if you were supposed to testify, you were in trouble.
Then Gomezulu then said, and that is why you took him home to change his clothes. And Buthelezi said that's not true. Buthelezi,
Did it make sense, the story of changing clothes?
no.
So you felt sorry that someone is wearing a Brentwood, and you, I mean,
Police don't do that.
no way, not unless they find you naked.
Yeah, not unless they find you naked without wearing anything at all.
Do you understand?
Yes, but to give you that privilege and honor to go back home to change your clothes just because you are saying I'm wearing an expensive
It's a lame excuse. It's a lame excuse of going and searching someone's house without a
search warrant.
search warrant. I mean, only a fool would not see that. That the police now all of a sudden has decided to go on his way out, go all the way to this man's house, and then incidentally he happens to find ammunition that is not used.
What a coincidence.
And it was a person who was in possession of that is a person who was not. And why hide? Why not tell us that you are staying with an uncle? Because you see such things. You even explain the situation where you say this person was actually showing the signs that you are staying alone. If you didn't kick the door, because an uncle would come here and say, no, actually the door was kicked when I find it. I had the key. So that's why now you're gonna isolate this person. You can see
Making
how they
conclusion
isolate
that he
you.
stayed
Yes,
alone.
how they isolate you, which goes back to the story of them not giving a chance of calling your family. It just has one strategy.
Wow.
They try to isolate you, no alibis, which is all we know. If there's no
Move you
alibis,
from post to post, move you cross provinces, like move you cross cities. You are moving.
confuse you.
Family contact none.
None.
Wow. It's very interesting what happened here. So, and then Gomezulu asked, so why did you take him home to change his clothes? And Buthelezi said, like I said, when we arrested him, he was wearing a Brentwood. He was complaining that we had made him lie down on the ground on top of the soil wearing that Brentwood.
Yeah, we know that Amajongo, they like cleanness. But That being said, we also know that
This
it
is
cannot
someone
be
who
an
used
excuse
the
for a
tactical
police.
takedown on, and
Yes.
wanted to confuse. All of a sudden, you are kind enough to go
To
all the way
unconfuse the
back.
person, go with that person to the kind enough to actually take off the handcuffs when they are eating, but not kind enough to take their handcuffs so that they can go to and find their
The
ID
ID themselves and give it to them.
and give it to you.
So yeah, very dodgy, very dodgy. We are yet dealing with another very dodgy situation.
He knows where he is right now, that his testimony was just a mess.
It was. So Buthelezi said he also didn't want to be arrested in those trousers. I wasn't going to deny him that when he was asking politely. No way.
Does
No
it
way.
sound like a
We're
person
being
who's
made
polite?
fools here. No.
He was using Zulu rude
terms, yeah.
terms,
Manga hlaza lawo.
unprovoked.
Unamanga. Like, yeah, even
And even after being corrected,
he still continued.
he makes those mistakes because seemingly it's his nature. It's his
who
second
he
nature.
is. He's a mean man. It's who he is. So Mgomezulu then said, I put it to you, that is not the reason. You assaulted him, he messed himself up, and you had to take him to his place to change. So Buthelezi said, we only went to his place once, and we never returned there. Those reasons are lies. Amanga lao, green lies, according to the interpreter. Mgomezulu then said, the accused says you didn't find the key in his pocket, it was with his uncle. The uncle, Buthelezi said, could not be found. Okay? So Buthelezi then said, maybe the uncle lives in his pocket because that is where we found it.
Rude again. Does that sound like someone who would actually take you home because you are wearing a brand
You are
new?
asking, I'm wearing a Brentwood. Can you please, guys, take me home so that I change into something? No, he doesn't sound like the police officer that will allow that to happen. Let us be honest. No. And then Gomezulu said, can we please be adults? We are in a formal institute. Buthelezi then apologized because he was using terms like amangahlazwa, amanga lawa, and Mgomezulu was like, let us have decorum, and in a court of law you'd say something like they are mistaken.
And considering that we are both Zulus,
Yes, considering the fact that we are both Zulus, ukhuluma iphutha, they are mistaken, or that's not correct.
no, ihlaza ayipheki impela ayipheki.
So yeah, he had to apologize. He apologized then, and when told that they forcefully gained entry into that shack, Buthelezi said that his uncle never arrived and he doesn't know him. He retrieved the keys from his pocket. He never broke in, and there was no need for him to break in.
You see, to see that the state is actually building a case based on how they want you to perceive the case. What I would say is that, for example, they will not bring the person who was arrested who was with this guy. They will not. They normally bring someone to support what the other person is saying. Guys, do not call us as yet. They will not do that. With the police, they do bring a supporting police who's gonna come and say the very same thing.
Yeah.
So, but they're not gonna do that.
No, they're not gonna do that. So yes, Mgomezulu then asked, after breaking into the shack, you had no permission to do that. Buthelezi is the one who first brought up how the description of accused number one's place of residence. Yesterday I didn't mention it, but he sounds like a classist. He sounds like someone who really looks down on accused number one, because he keeps saying umkuku instead of saying either his place of residence or his home or his it just has an undertone of disrespect and classism in it. It's like accused number 1 just stayed in a random shack.
Look at this one.
That's not his home.
No, continue, Emil. I'll put this one to rest.
So Buthelezi said that the Mkuku was not broken into and there was no need to break into that shack. So I was saying, guys, like, you know what? He's giving me classist vibes. Why can't he say his place of residence? The emphasis on Mkuku is just, it has an undertone of, I have no respect for this person. And I'm picking it up. So I don't know whether the judge is picking it up as well.
Where is
or
it
he
coming
cares.
from?
I don't know where this
In
Buthelezi comes
KZN,
from.
one thing I've noticed about these ones that do things in a certain way, they no longer staying in KZN. Their permanent residence is Gauteng.
So they no longer have a connection with KZN. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
So it just sounded weird to me. I'm like, why can't you say his home or his place of residence or you're just talking about it like it's a random shack that you happen to have found him in and you're not sure whether he's staying there or not. Why so much emphasis on the fact that he lives in a shack on a public platform in a court of law?
That's what makes it easier for you to actually torture him. Is that so? You can therefore ask those questions in this court because they are so protected. They have a defense. They have everyone there.
But he has an undertone of disrespect towards
But
accused number 1.
such a witness
undermined.
does not deserve the defense respect.
So that's why Mshololo went hard and went in.
Yes.
And the other people are like, oh no, she's this. No, Mshololo could read that this person is rude.
Even saying that the plate, the fridge was dirty. What was he doing in that fridge?
And it was
in
not
any case?
working. And he was asked, why did you open that fridge?
Looking for an
Were you
ID.
looking for an ID in that fridge? When do you keep an ID in a fridge? You know, and he just
Says
was
because it
stunted.
was not working, he could have. This is crazy.
So yeah, now you are inside, Mgomezulu says, in the shack. You are inside the shack and you found a black plastic. Was it the reason for his arrest? And Buthelezi said the accused had been arrested and he was arresting him for the second time.
He was now, in short, how can we put it? He was now having something that is going to stick so that it stays for longer while they do whatever that they were doing. Because this one, we noticed that whatever they arrested him for, it does not stick, right? When he went to Fosloras, he came out. So it didn't stick.
It didn't stick.
And Nakhona, why are we even, and that's a valid question, why are we even going all the way to Fosloras, even such that this person now, the case is actually reported in Fosloras of this person selling and doing all those things apparently that they are saying, this person was saying. Why not Tembisa? And I don't know if some of you noticed that. They didn't go to the main Tembisa police station.
No, they didn't.
When they met. They met in some second or something, I don't know, Tembisa police station, which I guess would allow such meetings.
It's a mess. So, Buthelezi said the accused had been arrested and he was arresting him for the second time. Gomezulu asked, you did not tell the accused that you want to search his shack. And Buthelezi said, firstly, the permission to enter the shack was given by him. Secondly, he is the one who directed us to where I should look for his ID. And when we could not find the ID, he is the one who said you can look for it or you can look for the ID here and there.
Closer to where I put the ammunition. Or you can actually look for it where I put the ammunition. What a very strategic criminal. Just points you direct to what you need.
You know, sometimes I ask myself, this black plastic bag with ammunition, what type of ammunition for what type of firearm was found in accused number 2's shack as well?
It said 9mm, and I can, without a doubt, assure you, both of them is 9mm.
Hi, Sauta. Why would he want his ID when he's going to jail, Mr. Anonymous? Why would he insist on going to jail with his ID on
There was
him?
no need. There was no need.
Why would he do that?
That's why it's not, we went to check for an ID. It must be collaborated with something like we went to change clothes.
And it's funny how he was arrested with his ID, and he, in his version, is claiming that I did not write any such confession. And then there was a police officer who was asked, who was taking the confession, how else would I, that's how he responded, how else would I have known his name and known his address and known all of this information, his ID number, if he didn't give it to me? Why did you? Well, you forgot to tell us that he was arrested with his ID. That part. It totally changes things in my perspective, in my opinion. That why would you want to go and look for your ID with the police in your house, knowing that you have kept ammunition in your house?
How did Ntanzi, how did they eventually gain access to his room?
Well, Ntanzi's version was that they broke into his home.
No, I'm saying, what is their story?
With regards of finding ammunition.
Yes.
Well, he said, in fact, with Ntanzi, he was not there. They broke into his home, which is also a shack in Rustenburg, without his presence there.
So you see,
and they
you see
found
the patterns.
ammunition in the black plastic bag.
You see the patterns. So do you think those people are people capable of taking these people nicely to their, so that they can change Brentwood? There's no such. There's no such.
So, actually, who was looking for the ID? Was it you or him? Asking Bukomezulu. Buthelezi said he was arrested. I was the one that needed his ID. Why did you need his ID? For what? And then you found the plastic bag, Mgomezulu says. You opened the plastic. There was another plastic inside that plastic bag. When you opened that plastic, was it his permission that allowed you to do so? And Buthelezi said, yes, he gave us because he said, look for it, it's here, it's there. To me, it means I'm allowed to look everywhere I want. So I got the permission.
And the judge is going to overlook that.
So you found these illegal unused live rounds. You asked for the license according to your answer. You said he said no. You continued to search after that. What were you looking for? The ID. And Buthelezi said the reason to be there was to look for the ID. But you said you dared to for him to change his Brentwood. What happened to that reason? And then when he got there, he all of a sudden got the inspiration to look for his ID. Hi guys, no. No ways, this version, even if usually that thing is done by elderly people, can you look for an ID inside the fridge? And Buthelezi said, I never said I was looking for the ID inside the fridge. Buthelezi said he opened the fridge and found a dirty dish, remember yesterday when he was testifying. After he was asked whether he would keep an ID in a fridge, he said he would if it was not working. So Buthelezi would put his ID inside a fridge if it's not working.
Because he's poor.
But you cannot do that. There was a wardrobe, this is Mgomezulu now saying, where he was keeping his clothes. And Buthelezi said, I never said I was looking for the ID in the fridge. Mgomezulu said, my concern is that you opened the fridge without his permission. And Buthelezi said it would have been nice if the permission was given as look here and here. But the permission, when it came to us, it said look everywhere. Is he serious? Who would give police permission without a search warrant to turn their place upside down?
No
It's
one.
not like they are need when they are looking
No
for
one.
things or searching people's houses.
You look at how the first ones who arrested the third accused, they claimed that because it was within the area,
The
vicinity of so for protection, or I don't know, just to clean up that area and make sure that everything's fine, they had to go to basically Libona. They went there illegally, but at least they are trying to pin it into. We need to create an environment that is safe.
And another problem I have, he's making Sbia sound like a stooge. And if indeed he was a stooge in that moment and he was not really responding much, or he's making him sound like he didn't have a choice or a voice. So if that is the instance that he's choosing to put Sbia in, where there was no resistance, there was no nothing, there was no him having a problem with you opening or turning his place upside down, what could have gotten him to that state of being a stooge? And in my opinion, that can only be torture. In my opinion.
Exactly.
If he was indeed tortured,
The fact that the person would actually take
prior
you
to messing himself up according to his version.
and to take you to his house when you arrested him far away from his house, and he volunteers to go to his house, that means you're hostile.
Aye. He's making him sound like he was just a zombie who just allowed him to do everything he wanted in his place. So already there's a red flag there. So Sergeant Sadiki was present, and they found the plastic, and Sergeant Mohola was outside. So this plastic bag was found by
Pastor.
Sadiki and Buthelezi.
Was that pastor?
Mamfundis.
Mamfundis, the one who's a whisperer, who makes people
was outside.
confess, go to certain direction.
She was standing outside. It's a she, by the way. So now Mgomezulu moved to him mentioning that they read the accused his rights when they were arresting him.
Yes, Wetobani. Maybe we are emotional as much as we are also emotional to ignore things that are in front of you. At least, you see, when you do this case, there is no way you are not going to see what is going on to this case. Some of us are not, we don't eat what is in front of us. No, we are not that type. We don't eat what is in front of us. We dig. We dig. So if you look at similarities from other cases with same people involved, and then you come here, claim that those people are saint, how are we supposed to believe that if these other ones are telling the similar story that the previous ones have said in a trial within trial, and that trial within trial, they won it? Yeah, maybe we are emotional because this is our money. This is our tax money.
Yep.
When we see someone fishing for something out of nothing, we must complain. Aren't we supposed to complain?
It costs money
It does.
to appear before a court.
Yes, it does. We are paying for advocates,
You don't appear for free.
Baloi. Like it or not, we are.
The state prosecutor.
Yes, it's a state. Yes,
The
with
NPA.
his other lawyers that are there,
Yes.
we are paying.
His entire team of lawyers.
Yes.
Because he has a team.
So we're not going to eat what is in front of us just like that and then be like, oh yeah, it is like that.
No
We are not here to...
accountability.
Some of us, let me put this thing clear, because other people, they come here with previous experience from wherever they come from. You know, when you've been robbed in a township, every time they say there's a criminal, you believe, yeah, that guy is a criminal. Because you at some point you were murdered at night by these people when they were robbing you. So some of us were not murdered. Even though we were murdered, we were able to decipher and say we
And
cannot
we know
we cannot believe this. You know,
you must be
so
able
don't
to
come
know.
here with your personal vendettas to settle the score. Maybe you know these people. We don't know them. We don't know them. We are not even from the same area. All we are saying is that when we listen, after all the math is done, it does not add up. Do you understand?
Yes.
There was a DNA that all of you had hopes. Yeah, DNA is gonna put these people in the house. DNA came out, nothing. You come here, you still want us to follow this useless case. Do you think that we are enjoying following this useless case? We want to see people who did this to Senzo.
Yes.
So bad. Such
those
that
who
we don't
saw
have
it
time
happening.
to waste. Yes.
Those who
Such-
saw it while it was happening, it happened in their
yes.
presence.
Such that we don't have time to waste.
They know what happened.
Chasing shadows. We don't have time to waste.
These
If-
Butelezi, whatever, Mukula, no, they were not there in that house.
if you want us to believe the story, find us something solid. You know,
Please.
find us something solid. Don't come here with that direction of we were going to just no.
We are tired. I'm tired of all these police officers coming to test.
Some of us, we want to end this thing. Yes, we would like to see it ending with
But
with
how-
that eye of a public interest, because we are interested as a public, but not to this movie that we are watching. It's a movie.
How are you going to feed us something that is not together?
Even yourself, you don't believe it.
And we must just take it because it's the law.
I have seen cooked cases. We have heard of them. This one, if it was cooked, it just doesn't have. It has a. If you were to grade them, it has a great art element in it. It is not cooked to that properly. If it was cooked,
It's not.
because now we are fishing. We move away from all these things that were there that we thought, hey, yeah, things are gonna come. This
I'm
case,
annoyed.
this case is like playing one song, put it on repeat.
Yes.
You will keep on doing that and that and that
It's
again and
programming.
again and again, but nothing's gonna happen. Basically, if you ask me how I view this case is just a waste of time, and it is done so on purpose because everything that they trusted on has fallen. So now they just want to keep this case going.
Yes.
If you keep it going,
keeping it
375 is
going-
not gonna see the day in court.
Yes. The more it keeps going, the more 375 is squashed.
And we are supposed to sit here and say, yeah, you see, we understand. The judge is partial. No, we are not.
Can analyze what
No,
is
we are not going to do that.
He's made it obvious which team he's
Even
siding with.
today, his cross-examination, this is not about this case, but you go back and you do an example that is going to come back to... He cannot help himself. The man cannot help himself. He you know, it's like putting your hand in a cookie jar. You cannot remove it even if you want to remove
Yeah.
it goes back automatically without you noticing. Before you said a second word after removing it, your hand is already there again.
Don't be shocked when Advocate Baloyi adds those elements of questions with the next police officer who will be testifying, because I have a feeling it's a streamline of them and they are boring me to death. Okay, I don't know. I don't know if I care for any more of these testimonies coming from these police
Where
officers.
have you had a case where
I'm
almost
exhausted.
what 2% of SAPS and testifying.
It's more like 90%.
In one case,
yes.
one person.
90%
Yes, of those witnesses, 90% of those witnesses is police.
It's police.
Where have you had a case like that?
And not the police who were investigating from 26th of October 2014. The only one
won't
is
see Joyce
Mhlaso
there.
And Musia.
Hey,
Joyce is not there. Steenkamp.
it's not called. Someone who said people were looking disinterested as he was talking.
Specifically, Kelly.
Yes.
To be specific.
You won't see such people.
She was very direct. That she was not interested. She looked upset. In fact, she refused for the child to assist in identifying and helping out with identifying the intruders.
And then you want us to sit here and say, yeah, you see, there is a bit of a lie there from Dan's. No.
They did all these 5 men are being accused of stealing a cell phone.
5 men. One was working at some mine.
They left a BMW X6. They left it. They stole one cell phone and they ended Senzo's life. And we are expecting.
And Nakona, they were not even sure that they did.
Oh my God.
Because he was still breathing,
he
isn't
was
it?
still breathing when he came to the hospital.
And here we are talking about.
According to the people.
We are talking about people who are there for certain reasons. Some of them who are there for doing such things.
Hi guys.
And you want us to
if you want them to be guilty, that's your business.
No, we some of us we don't care. All we care about is who did this to Senzo.
That's what you want. But we want to know who ended Senzo's life.
I mean, where does it
That's
add value? Where does it add value to get someone who has, for example, 39 years in jail or 40 or 50 years in jail added to those through Senzo? Where is value there? And if these are people, the case is based on the mastermind. Where is the mastermind?
Where is the mastermind in that court?
And
because they're supposed to be standing in.
You wanna eat that? Well. Hey, I believe it. I believe it. What are you believing? Come on.
So you asked the accused if he had a license for the live ammunition, and Buthelezi said yes. After you found him with the live rounds, did you explain his rights further, because this is another offense? And Buthelezi said it is so. It was supposed to be done. Even then, the investigative officer was there when I told him. So did he make any admissions? Asked Mgomezulu. Did he admit all those things belonged to him? And Buthelezi said we never asked him further regarding that. What he admitted is that the room was his, and the things that were in the room were his.
India was staying with the uncle.
Like I said, that makes me sound like a stooge. It's like he was just standing there. And they did whatever they wanted to do. They could have put that plastic bag there. It doesn't really matter. I'm not saying they did, but that's how it sounded.
And Emily, in all honesty, Senzo is making a point here. All these people, they are fine with ammunition.
All of them.
No gun.
No gun.
So they just like keeping bullets.
Bullets with no guns. Yo, guys, you don't understand how frustrating this case is. You know, this case, so in a nutshell, he never made any admissions to the live rounds. So Buthelezi said, I don't remember whether he agreed or not. Isn't that the most important part if you are going to arrest the person? That part matters.
It does.
Whether they are taking ownership
or not. Or you arrest them after that if they say, even if
they say no. But to know whether they're taking ownership of what you found.
Because it makes your case easier if they take ownership.
Yes. It's important. but you don't remember such an important detail in your case. So the persons that entered the shack of the accused were yourself, Constable Sadiki, Constable, he's also a constable. I remember later on with Mshololo, and he said he was a constable for over 20 years. And Mshololo was like, so you've never gotten a promotion?
Do you see how they take offense? When,
Mshololo today.
no, you know what? There he was right. She was right.
I was like, Shapa, Mshololo.
Because there are people here who are saying it was okay for him to keep on mentioning it was a shack.
Yes, he was busy saying Mkuku. So he's been a constable for over 20 years with no promotion.
Nothing.
What is wrong with him? That is the question.
Others, they are coming. I was a constable. Now I'm a...
They've changed departments.
Even with your big part that you played in this case, you still remain constable.
But we will not be shocked if you get a promotion after this. It won't surprise us or shock us.
You would have gotten it long time ago. He's one of those. How many years has he been working?
Over 20 years.
Imagine.
So
Ngalo yan. Straight.
So Mukhola said a sergeant. Okay, Mukhola was a sergeant at the time, 2020. So, are you aware that by law you are not permitted to take any confessions and admissions? And Buthelezi said he did not know that. By law, he objected to say that it is not entirely correct. An admission can be made, and the judge agreed, calling it an unequivocal admission of all the elements of a particular crime. Why are they speaking on behalf of the police?
You know when your computer is...
How come the police, how come Buthelezi could not say this for himself?
You know when your computer is hacked, a computer that was functioning properly is hacked. You know, only files that are spreading the virus are left. This is how this judge sounds like. You know, sounds like this was a very good judge, perhaps, at the time, during the circumstances.
Pre-1994.
1994, yes. It was serving a certain purpose. You know, but now we're in a situation where a computer should be functioning properly. You know, it only functions, but it still functions when it spreads the virus. It spreads the virus. There's nothing else. There is like nothing else.
Yeah,
that is
it corrupted your most important softwares.
The system has changed. You have cleaned the computer. Everything should be working fine because the system is changed. I mean, it's post.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have went past that thing of 1995, where past 1994. Years after, the computer still functions like it's 1995.
Phew.
Where the state was really in charge of the police system, and you were expected to really show that you are siding with the state. Expected, mark that word. Now you have what we call freedom, that facade of a freedom, but we have what we call freedom.
Well, Mgomezulu said that he will revisit Section 214A. And the first time you met the accused as Mgomezulu, it was around 1 during the day. J50 was issued within the jurisdiction of Tembisa. Mgomezulu said by law, the accused, having been arrested in Tembisa, should have been taken to a police station in Tembisa. Buthelezi said, I think so. Was he taken to one of the police stations in Tembisa? Buthelezi said, no, we carried on.
There he was following instruction. But when he was arresting, it's within his duties.
Yes, it's within his
So you
duties
arrest. When
to
you
search
arrest, after
and
that, it's
flip.
within your duties to follow instruction.
Open fridges looking for IDs.
Evading the question from
Bombastic side eye galok.
from you arrested the person, you are taking ownership, even though your signature is not there. You're taking ownership, and then when you have to detain, oh no. Investigator are still investigating. That's why that guy, after 14 hours, including the confession just around that time, then he went to sleep. If indeed he did sleep.
If he did sleep. Don't know what happened thereafter. There's a traveling to KZN as well. Oh my God. They traveled with them to Nongoma individually, separately. But they had to take trips with the police. Remember, their fathers were narrating.
Are they admitting to that? Because everything is
Mangala.
Mangala.
Green lies, according to our interpreter. Green lies. So Mgomezulu then said, but you didn't. Why? Buthelezi said the investigating officer said we should go to Vusmuzi Hostel, which falls under Tembisa. So these two offenses were allegedly committed in Tembisa. And Buthelezi said yes, but he was supposed to be detained in Tembisa. He was arrested there. And Mgomezulu said it was not, okay, this is Buthelezi saying it was not my decision as to where he was supposed to be detained. The investigating officer was there. They'll come and answer for themselves. And this investigating officer is not Gininda, guys. It's Mohula.
That pastor.
The lady. Mamfundisi. Mamfundisi, the investigating officer for this case prior the confession to the Senzo Meyiwa murder.
Church uzochaza umfundisi uthi why thatha ingane yabantu wazoyilalisa ngo2.
Why? Kumele sichazele.
But uzothi was investigating. Utholeni kwi-investigation dololo food in Phosphorus where he was enjoying food with the police. Nothing else.
Buthelezi said that there was an investigating officer that he listened to when asked about why they took the accused to Phosphorus. Okay, he said he took instructions from that investigating officer. And Gomezulu asked, you are the one who effected the arrest of accused number 1 on the instruction of the investigating officer. Was that part of escorting? And Buthelezi said that that had nothing to do with the escort. He was assisting. So Mgomezulu then put it, he's saying, so you agree with me that you acted beyond the scope of your employment? And Buthelezi said that would be lies. Amangalawo. Mgomezulu then said it is more polite to say it is not true than to say it is lies. Then Buthelezi said, I apologize for sounding like I'm rude. That is not true. Let me take it back. I'd be pleased, since we are Zulu speakers, for you to say they were mistaken or it's not true. And then Buthelezi said, I accept that. Mgomezulu said, in Phosphorus, no offense has been allegedly committed there. There was no instruction from the investigating officer to go and search for a firearm. And Buthelezi said that would be surprising because all that was done was on the instruction of the IO. Buthelezi said that when they found the ammunition in the shack, it implied the presence of a gun. So they now wanted a gun. You coincidentally fell on this ammunition and now you're looking for a gun. You're not looking for it in the same vicinity. No. You go to look for another person.
And what would have pushed this guy to actually say, actually, guys, listen, not that I have handed ammunition to your lab by allowing you in my house and actually instructing you to look for my ID. I'm not done. I can even tell you where the gun is. Let's go to Vusmuzi. Nicely,
Hostel.
yeah? Hostel. And by the way,
My friend.
I forgot that my friend passed away.
And then when you
But
arrive
let's-
at Vusmusi hostel, you forgot that your friend passed away. Guys, are you serious? The ones who are busy. No, guys, I am judging you. No. Come to the room. Come to the corner. Guys, knee right.
Following the same pattern of Nkabis, serious Nkabis, who allowed Longwetwala to just push them, both of them, out. First one, second one went out.
Accused
sounds
number
like-
5 allegedly took out who he was sent to take out and witnesses. In the same day, same time, witnesses. And you are telling us that they got in there and they tussled and they took one cell phone. Guys, how?
We are talking about people who are sure of what they are doing if they
Guys,
do it.
no.
From the stories that we are hearing,
Yeah.
if they did what they have done before is anything to go by.
Yeah.
We are not talking about people who would allow you to push them around here.
Or take them to jail.
No.
They cover their tracks.
That's how it looks like.
Hi, guys. Right. Something is not right.
Akambanga kahle.
Mgomezulu reminded Buthelezi that accused number 1 was not arrested for being in possession of an unlicensed firearm. So Mgomezulu didn't even really want to focus on that firearm because it was not found.
It was not found. It's here, sis.
So what offense was committed in forced slaughterers? The judge said that it's unfair to the witness for Mgomezulu to not want to know about the firearm.
He's got time to waste, this man.
R versus Hepworth. R versus Hepworth. So accused number 1 raised his hand for Mgomezulu to take instructions. And when he came back, he said, I have a reason not to dwell much on the firearm. The reason being the evidence you gave to the court involves other people that could not come and testify about the contents of that conversation. And Mgomezulu then asked, in Fosleris, there was no instruction from the IO to you to go and search for a firearm. And Buthelezi said that would be shocking because moving from Tembisa to Fosleris, those were the instructions I was receiving from the IO. Arriving, the IO means the investigating officer, you guys, for those who may get confused. Investigating officer.
Yes.
So arriving at Fosleris, they waited until Brigadier Kininda arrived, and Buthelezi said that he does not do as he pleases. Whatever he does is upon instruction given to him by the investigating officer. What he did was to call the team because he knew that they had to go to the hostel. So when did he call this team? Yes, Manje, I'm going through a lot of questions as I am going through this again. When did you organize this team? This sounds like something that was prepared beforehand, before the actual arrest.
To even say that he called a team, he did not know what they are going to do that side.
No.
Because
He stumbled upon
the
the black
investigator
plastic
is the one who gets in and get out. Whenever you are organizing for an investigator,
You're calling the team. You're not waiting to hear instructions
and look
from
at
the
this,
investigating
because
officer
he knew
on
that
what
they
to
were
do
going
next.
to a hostel, he needed that team. But when he was going to Vusmus, there was no team. It was only him. It is a hostel, right?
Yes.
It was only him,
Sadiq
Sadiq,
and Muhola.
and Muhola. Yet other people are saying there were many cars. Now, when he goes to Fosloras, Basoto, he needs a team.
He needs a team now. Yeah, ne?
Then you tell me that we are supposed to believe that, right? Eat it.
Not have any questions.
You must eat it.
We must be zombified.
Aye. Come on.
Then they went to Basotho Hostel before Brigadier Gininda arrived. Buthelezi said that the investigating officer entered the hostel while they waited outside and didn't find the gun they were searching for. Then they proceeded for debriefing outside the Vosloorus police station. Brigadier Gininda was there.
They're not done. They're doing a debriefing now. It's like, hey, stop there. It's for Vosloorus when you're eating scoreboard there. Do the debriefing outside the police station, by the way.
Yeah, ne?
Like we're standing on a tree, under the tree, someone is cooking some tlogo there. And then
yeah, ne? They then went to Artin in, it was himself, Sergeant Sadiki and Sergeant Mohola. He said he could not remember the other people that were there. So Mgombezulu asked Constable Munareng, Mapumulo, and Jonathan were not there. Buthelezi said he's unable to remember. May the court have mercy on him because it has been such a long time.
As if you had mercy on other people.
Selective memory, I say. How come he doesn't remember the other police officers that were there? Every time he's asked about other police officers, he doesn't remember.
It's a no-go area.
So Mgomezulu then said at Artin, what time did you arrive there? And Buthelezi said, the time I did not look at, but it was dark. So Mgomezulu then said,
now the time is you see, check how the time when they got to arrest is sort of remembered. And then as time goes on, it fades. Because he's even admitting he was tired. How much more on someone who was going through what he was going through? When you were tired, you've been taking some naps. That person still needed to give a confession the same day.
So Mgomezulu approximately after 8 or before 8. Ne? And another thing before I continue, like notice how these police officers are very much giving the testimonies of the people in the house. The same vibe, the same, I don't remember. They don't want to tell the time. It reminded me of the people that were in the house.
They do tell the time initially, and it fades away afterward. And for someone who's expected to have that pocketbook and write these
and it's their
things,
job
they should
to
remember time.
To detail what happened when they are in, they are having an accused person in their custody. You understand? They need to detail. However, pocketbook. So Mgomezulu then said the notice of rights was given to my client. Do you notice the time? And Buthelezi said yes. Mgomezulu asked, can you confirm the time there is 1:40 in the morning? And Buthelezi said that's correct. Mgomezulu said it was now on the 31st of May 2020. It could be more than 14 hours since his arrest. And Buthelezi said I wasn't counting. Mgomezulu said it could be. Buthelezi said yes. So after the short adjournment, Mgomezulu said, on the 1st of June 2020, did you render transportation for accused number 1? And Buthelezi said, from where? Mgomezulu said, Valeria to court appearing for the first time. And Buthelezi said that he can't recall. Buthelezi said he cannot remember if he transported the accused to a court in Tembisa for his court appearance on the 1st of June. I started forgetting now, Buthelezi. He started to have selective memory. Mgomezulu then said on the 5th of June 2020, Buthelezi said, I was not part of that convoy. We were patrolling that area. I never went inside. So Mgomezulu said Lieutenant Hadebe testified that there were Metro police officers near the cell. And Buthelezi said, I'm not able to dispute that. Mgomezulu then said, were you part of the convoy when accused number 1 appeared for the second time in court on the 8th of June 2020? And Buthelezi said it's a long time, he doesn't remember. Mgomezulu then said the version of the accused number 1 is that they were standing inside the yard when they saw this gold, is it a gold golf 4 across the street and somebody alighted from it and proceeded to a spaza shop, bought some bananas and water. Then Mgomezulu said, can you comment on that? Buthelezi said, I can't comment. Mgomezulu then asked, when he was approached by the police, he was taken to his place of residence after he was asked who he stayed with. And Buthelezi said, there's no such. Mgomezulu then said his uncle was not there. He was then taken to Letabong, where he was beaten up until he messed himself up. Then Buthelezi said, firstly, that is not true. And secondly, if you were to beat someone up like that, he'd have to be checked by a doctor. Mgomezulu then said, he says that this is the reason why you took him home to change. And then he was taken to Vosloorus, and that's where he was told he must tell the truth about the death of Senzo Meyiwa, giving evidence on the events of the 24th of June 2020 when accused Bongani Ntanzi appeared before the magistrate court with Magistrate Vivian Cronje at the Boksburg Magistrate Court. Mgomezulu now gave the version of accused number 2, and Mgomezulu asked, what did you recall about accused number 2 at Boksburg Court? And Buthelezi said, we were clearing the way when they arrived there. Mgomezulu then said, you said you parked at the back of the court. And Buthelezi said, a passage which allows you to go in. So this is, now I started feeling like, okay, the distancing, because now they were no longer saying that Vivian Cronje, he didn't want to identify the magistrate as Vivian Cronje.
Mm-hmm.
He said it's a white lady.
Mm-hmm.
White lady. How many white ladies were there that you saw?
There was one. Because there was...
So this whole distancing of it, I found it so weird. I was like, what is going on? Why don't you want to admit that the white lady was the magistrate?
And that white lady was with the interpreter.
Yes.
Which seemingly that white lady also didn't have an interpreter. Because they would have said a white lady with
an interpreter. Guys, so Mgomezulu said, do you recall how many of you were escorting that day? And Buthelezi said, I don't recall. Mgomezulu said, the white lady you saw there, Magistrate Vivian Cronje, in our opinion, as the court of public opinion. Okay, never mind what Buthelezi said, playing ducking and diving. It was Vivian Cronje. How many white ladies were there on that day? Then Buthelezi said, she said, why are there so many? You are intimidating us. Yini nibaninganganga niyasthusa yini. Okay, that's what he says. He heard her say. So yeah, Buthelezi then said the normal way we are always armed. Ngomezulu, after he asked, were you armed? And he says they're always armed. And he even said that the weapons are part of their uniform. Mgomezulu then said, on the 19th of June 2020, did you see accused number 2? Buthelezi said, what was happening that day? And Mgomezulu said, so you never reported for duty? And Buthelezi said, what was happening on that day? Buthelezi was getting on my nerves at this point. He was choosing not to remember what was happening on the 19th of June 2020. He says he doesn't remember. Why was he so defensive about this day?
Because that's a day.
He was so defensive. He didn't want to remember nothing. He said what was happening on that day. He wanted now the lawyer who was not there to remind him of what he was doing on the 19th of June 2020, which I found strange. So Mgomezulu then asked, do you carry your pocketbook? And I found this to be quite a smart tactic, but I wish he would have gone further and actually asked the state to subpoena those pocketbooks from June up until, from May up until July 2020. Because we remember what happened with Musia. Musia on the stand said there were no pocketbooks. The pocketbooks were destroyed. But because they kept insisting on these pocketbooks, what ended up happening? The pocketbooks they showed up. The pocketbooks were found. So I feel that they should pursue these pocketbooks specifically for Buthelezi. And just demonstrate the level of incompetence he is. It would explain why he's been a constable for over 20 years. How come he doesn't make use of his pocketbooks? What is he doing? That is not part of his job description. Why doesn't he have pocketbooks? Why doesn't he use them? So Buthelezi then said there are times when the employer fails to buy them for us.
Blaming the government. He's blaming us.
And the people's tax money.
He is blaming us. We're failing to buy you so that you...
To buy him a pocketbook.
Is that why you do this?
Just say you don't like writing. Just say you don't like detailing the things that you're doing. Because sometimes, allegedly, you do dodgy stuff. Pocketbook.
Nonhlanhla, I hear what you're saying, checking the logbook and all those things for the car. But when are they going to get a chance when Balo is still unleashing all these witnesses? People you don't understand. It's like we are now dealing with the trial, actually. Not a trial within trial, which is supposed... in its nature is supposed to be not that long.
Not more than a week, actually.
But
this one is going to take the whole year, this trial within. There's a whole list of police officers that are coming to testify.
My lord, this one is not from the list of the witnesses.
Yeah.
It's just going to come and just to give evidence about what Sergeant Msia had said.
Yeah, I know.
Take that list, times it by 2, you probably get closer to your answer.
So Buthelezi then said it's supposed to be like that. Mgome Zulu then said on the 19th of June, you can't tell the court where you reported for duty. Buthelezi said, I don't recall what was happening that day. So it seems like he doesn't recall what happened on the 19th of June. I would have said, Mgome Zulu persist, subpoena them pocketbooks.
Yeah, that's
Show
the only way.
Show the nation what he gets up to. Okay, if you don't find any pocketbooks, then there's something wrong with how he does his work.
Something dodgy.
Something is very dodgy. So I would have liked for Mgome Zulu to ask for them. So Mgome Zulu then said Jonathan testified he was at Moroka police station on the 19th of June 2020, and Buthelezi said I was on duty but not there. Mgome Zulu asked where. Buthelezi said doing crime prevention and highway patrol along N12. So Buthelezi said he was never at the Moroka police station. So Mgome Zulu asked who was with you on the 19th of June 2020. Buthelezi now remembers and said Maphumulo. Mgome Zulu then said, this is why I say he had selective memory. Mgome Zulu then said, I will concentrate on the version where you are involved. Accused number 2 was with Mohani and Mabena traveling with a white Toyota Fortuner. And Buthelezi says he saw the white Fortuner, the white Toyota Fortuner, but he didn't know who was inside. Mgome Zulu then asked after a telephonic conversation.
If these people are lying,
and Maphumulo
but
appeared.
yet they tell the truth about these cars.
The cars. So Buthelezi said on the N12 there is no garage. And Mgome Zulu said
and
if
it's
you
a
are
lie.
driving, the 19th of June is the day of the torture for accused number 2.
Exactly. So he was not there.
So Mgome Zulu then said if you are driving from N3 towards Johannesburg, the first off-ramp is View, then Alberton, then a garage. And Buthelezi said, I can't comment because I don't know what you are talking about. Then Mgome Zulu said accused number 2 was taken out of the Fortuner and put into the into Jonathan's vehicle. And Buthelezi said, I don't know that. Mgomezulu then said, and Mabena got in, and you were standing by the door next to accused number 2. Buthelezi said, I don't know that. Mgomezulu then said, Sergeant Mabena was in possession of a plastic written true words and it was silver, which was used to cover the face of accused number 2. And Buthelezi said, I have no knowledge of that.
Badly true words. Badly true words. Maweqeda bezobopha ngayo abantu ebusweni.
Silver, true words. Bese baya bopha ngani zabantu.
Bagqoka true words.
Allegedly. Then Constable Jonathan was sitting in the driver's seat and released it towards the knees of accused number 2, who is quite tall, by the way. And Buthelezi said, I am unable to comment on that as I have no knowledge. Gomezulu said, and your role was to block so that the accused doesn't get out. And Buthelezi said, I have no knowledge of that. Gomezulu said, after he was beaten, you then had informal meeting. And Buthelezi said, we didn't gather with anyone. Mabena last spoke to me on the phone to clear the way for him. And Mgomezulu then said, you then proceeded towards another dumping area. Buthelezi said, I have no knowledge of that. Mgomezulu said, there are still tanks and stairs. Buthelezi said, there is nothing to comment. Mgomezulu then said, you all got out of the vehicle and Mabena removed the handcuffs from the back and the jacket accused number 2 was wearing. He was ordered to take it off. Now, I kept thinking to myself, accused number 2 had a jacket on that Jonathan clearly didn't want to acknowledge the jacket. He said that it was long sleeves. He doesn't remember whether he had a jacket on or not. And we are also told by accused number 2 that he was bleeding through his nose after the torturing. Right? So if he was bleeding through his nose, could it be that this jacket is not acknowledged because perhaps maybe it had blood on it?
Onto something.
That's me thinking aloud.
Yebo.
You know, could it be? Then Buthelezi said, I'm unable to comment on that as I had no knowledge. Mgomezulu then said the assault further continued, and Buthelezi said, I don't remember an incident when someone was being assaulted. Then Mgomezulu said one of the members had a container with water. You know, throughout this narration, Buthelezi gave me vibes of being annoyed. And I don't understand how he's annoyed when he was not there. Right? All he had to do was listen. I feel like Jonathan handled it a lot more calmer than how Buthelezi is choosing to handle hearing the version of the torturing of accused number 2. It's almost like he was too offended.
That would explain why Jonathan got promotion, right?
Perhaps.
See the difference between them?
Emotional intelligence. On another, it's two different levels of emotional intelligence.
Yebo.
One of the members had a container with water and it was poured in his front body. And Buthelezi said, I have no knowledge. And Mgomezulu said, and a small device was used to electrocute. And Buthelezi said, no. Mgomezulu then said, the people using the device was you, Mabena, and Jonathan. Buthelezi said, that's not true. Mgomezulu then said, during the course of the assault and tubing, he was bleeding, and Sergeant Mohani said, Yegelani Diman. And Buthelezi said, I don't know that. Any reason why you didn't give the lady your appointment certificates? Buthelezi said, I think the lady that was speaking was just the lady in court. Mgomezulu said,
Vejana is instructing you, Emily, to pause to give people a chance to like. Yeah, they say you must pause. Breathe in, breathe out. Calm down.
My water bottle should make a return. I miss it.
What are you drinking? So,
I need to drink
guys, just like
water.
the video. Press that like button.
I need to drink water. I need a bottle, a new one that is not branded with businesses that refuse to sponsor. Non-branded one. Okay? So, yeah. I need a new bottle, Mr. Anonymous. That doesn't have a brand of a big company.
Should I take it from... Okay, it's fine.
That doesn't have a brand of a big company. Okay, can't be doing free advertising.
You press that like button, guys, so that we continue.
So Buthelezi then said, I think, okay guys, I'm gonna continue because it's a lot. I have to get this over and done with. So Mgomezulu then said, and it didn't occur to you that she was a magistrate. And Buthelezi said, it didn't appear so to me, and she didn't look like one on that day. Miss Grenier didn't look like a magistrate to Buthelezi. Oh wow. Mgomezulu then said, accused number 2 was with Sergeant Mokhali and Mabena when they stopped before a garage towards Alberton. He says that there was a telephone conversation. Buthelezi appeared in a white hard body bakkie. Buthelezi, who says he patrolled along the N12 on the 19th of June, denies this hard body bakkie, denies being there. Okay? And he says he can't comment on Tanzi being taken out of Mokhani's Fortuna into the car driven by Constable Jonathan while he stood outside. Why is he denying the hard body? And on top of it, he's saying that he's always been changing cars. He doesn't remember the car that he was driving then. He's always changing cars. But he remembers the white Fortuna. Why can't he remember the car that he was driving? Why?
He's not supposed to remember it.
Then after the long adjournment, Mgomezulu said there were 5 officers not wearing uniform at the arrest of accused number 1 in Tembisa. 8 were wearing uniform. And Buthelezi said there were not many police officers. It was just the 3 of them. Buthelezi denies any knowledge of Ntanzi's torture as well. So Mgomezulu finished his cross-examination. Nisi and Nxumalo opted not to cross-examine. Why?
There's a thin line between accused number 1, 2 to making a mistake.
Okay.
Do you see how Balo keeps on hammering on Msholol?
Don't they have loopholes? They don't have to cross-examine on everything. Just find one yana loophole.
I feel like they combine it and
give it to Mgomezulu.
Yeah, or Msholol.
Or Msholol.
Yes.
Okay, if that's the case, then great.
Because they see this case is going to be long. Can you imagine if they were cross-examining us?
He was going to have to come back tomorrow again.
Exactly.
So Advocate Mshololo did the cross-examination of Buthelezi, and Mshololo interrogated the witness on the notice of rights form, which bears the date of 31st of May 2020 while he was arrested on the 30th.
Doesn't that sound like a Black Mamba's cross-examination?
It does. The details of the paperwork.
Exactly.
It does sound like Nxumalo, Advocate Nxumalo.
Yeah.
So it says the 31st of May instead of the 30th. They say they arrested him on the 30th, but honey, that form that said the 31st of May. Mshololo then asked, you remember you arrested the accused and found live rounds of ammunition? And Buthelezi said yes. Mshololo said, is that the charge included in paragraph 1? Buthelezi said no. So the charge of ammunition was not added on that.
Is it a drama of the convo for someone who's confessing? It just doesn't make sense.
Buthelezi said the charge of illegal possession of ammunition is not on that form. And Mshololo asked, the form says someone else and not you read the rights. Buthelezi said it would be a mistake to say that because he didn't write it down. He didn't say it. Just because he didn't write it down doesn't mean he didn't say it. Mshololo then said you testified when you read the rights, your colleagues was next to you, a witness. And Buthelezi said yes. Mshololo then asked, so why is that part not completed? Mshololo said, when you testified that you had explained the rights to accused, you were referring to this form, right? And Buthelezi said, I was explaining him to his constitutional rights. Mshololo asked, what were your duties? And Buthelezi said, my duties were to effect an arrest and to protect the investigator.
This guy has power, Mus.
People that work in the police, do you have a job where you have to protect the investigator? Yabuza, I mean, I don't know what happens. The investigator needed protection that came from Buthelezi.
Enjoy a game.
So Mshololo then asked, do you have a written permission from your supervisor? And Buthelezi said he didn't need permission. Haibo. Buthelezi, you don't need permission from your supervisor. Hi, Gumnandi. Gumnandi lapha sebenza khona, okay? That's all I can say. It's very nice where he works. Then Mshololo said, do you have it or not? Buthelezi said no. Mshololo asked, there's no supervisor who gave you permission to carry out these tasks. Buthelezi said there is, and his name is Vishal Singh. Vishal Singh. Me now all this time I'm thinking his supervisor is Mukhula.
No, Vishal. Toilet team lenempela.
Vishal Singh. Hi, Gumele Uze, you have to come and testify.
He's gonna come
you have to explain to us how you were granted all of these tasks and you just handed them over to these specific police officers because wow. So Mshololo then asked, how did he do that? And Buthelezi said over the phone. Mshololo asked, do you know what a search warrant is? And did you have it? And Buthelezi said no. Mshololo asked why. Buthelezi said we were not there to search for the ID. Mshololo said, so why didn't you tell him to go and fetch the ID because you didn't have a warrant? Buthelezi said you can't just release an arrested person to fetch an ID. But Loyi said that the law makes provision for a warrantless search. This was the platform to tell us what those provisions are.
No, the judge is okay with that submission. No, because nothing is called. The judge just says, okay.
Know that.
Give us that section. Why should that happen? Say, okay, in this situation, because I know in a situation where you are arrested in that area, it does give provision to actually search. Hence, accused number 3, they said it was within the area, so they could search. It does make sense for that. But a kilometer away,
and they are discrediting Litabong, where they tortured him, allegedly. They're discrediting that they went there and then came back. Why did they need to cancel the Litabong visit? At this point, they should also ask for the tracking of those vehicles that the police were using, because how can't they ask and subpoena for the movements of the cars?
They ask for logbook. I don't know which cars they ask for, but there are many cars that even if you
no, specifically the Fortuna, as well as the white BMW, as well as the
white BMW, isn't it a private one?
The ones that they can find, the ones that
isn't
have been
it a private one? Remember, BMW is not yet admitted in court. It's just it's a story.
Okay, the Fortuna and the hard body.
Is the hard body accepted? Because I know the Fortuna, there is a rubber stamp to say, yeah.
The Fortuna was there.
Yeah.
The Fortuna then. We need the movements of the police, specifically on the 19th of June 2020, because these
people, they knew what they were doing. They were going with using unmarked cars.
Wow. So Mshololo then asked, what time did you first arrest accused? And Buthelezi said, I don't recall, but it was during the day. Mshololo asked, and when was the accused detained? And Buthelezi said, in the morning. So Mshololo said, so the entire time you were with him, which is very interesting. You arrest a person, you're chilling with this person, you're not taking them to the cell. Why? So Buthelezi said He has considered that they didn't have a search warrant to search the accused room. Then Mshololo asked when were his rights explained, and Buthelezi said he was being put in the cells. So they explained his rights as he was being put to the cells. This is after 14 hours. So Mshololo then said, at what stage? Buthelezi at the time that it is written here. Mshololo says, so it means from midday on the 30th until the 31st, he was not detained. What was happening? And Buthelezi said investigators were investigating.
Yeah, investigators investigating. Investigators were investigating. What were they investigating? Investigators are investigating.
Yeah. Mshololo then asked the evidence of Jonathan that there were officers who didn't want to give their appointment certificates to Magistrate Vivian Grenier, Buthelezi, Monareng, and Mapumulo. Buthelezi said, I was outside the offices. So Mshololo said, did you give your appointment certificate when you were asked for it? And Buthelezi said, nobody asked for his appointment certificate. So Mshololo said, so Jonathan was mistaken when he said so. Okay, Buthelezi said that that is a mistake. He said when they discovered live ammunition, a magazine, and a cleaning rod in his room, they were not there to search, but instead to look for his ID. Mshololo asked, why did you not allow him to go and fetch his ID? Buthelezi said, you can't just release someone like that. Buthelezi said the accused was arrested around 1 o'clock on the 30th of May and was only detained the next morning. So Mshololo said, so from the time he was arrested until he was detained the next morning, you were there. And Buthelezi said, yes. Isn't that interesting? And I remember he was asked, I don't remember by which advocate, but he was asked that your shifts, how do your shifts work? And he said that they can get off whenever they want. They don't have shifts. So Jonathan was lying when he said you guys had shifts. What is going on?
This one didn't have a shift, yeah?
This one says they didn't have shifts in their department.
You go to infinite.
You can go for as long as you want. Then how do you get compensated? How do you get paid?
The shift is written infinite.
Yeah, guys.
You can wake up at 1 and say, Konje, there's that guy. Let me go do my work.
So yes, the state re-examined and the state literally went through the white lady, emphasis on the white lady, and Buthelezi said that he saw this white lady in the driveway. And she did not look like a magistrate. So he says he went as far as the door and never went in that passage that they were talking about, the magistrate and Jonathan. So again, Baloyi asked the judge's questions with regards to Buthelezi having been convicted of previous crimes, and if there's any charges against him, and if their department has ever been reported or there's any charges against.
Yes, they were disbanded.
He said no.
They are no longer working together, my lord.
They were disbanded, but they didn't want to give the reasons as to why they were disbanded. But one of our family members told us why. So the judge defended the concept as well of the metro. Guys, the metro police being heavily armed while accompanying the accused to confess, and also mentioned other incidents where the accused would be let go by criminals with AK-47s while being transported to the court in police vans.
Yeah, no, guys, I'm laughing. I mean, because I see the comment. Some people, no, guys, let us not attack each other here. But I know that you are playing. That's why I let you continue with this.
Guys,
I know they are playing. I know that these are good members. Here we don't fight.
So, Mr. Anonymous, how did you feel about this part? Now he was coming with a new scenario and a new incident of covering the incompetenceness that we are noticing with these police officers. He was saying that defending the heavily armed the fact that they have to be heavily armed. He said that there was a time that suspects were being transported to court in a police van, and people with AK-47s.
Hey, Lord
came.
Judge Mfetakasiel, we were not there, but
Guys, have you ever heard of anything like that? I know it happens with convicted criminals who are convicted in the prisons, who want to escape prison. I've heard of it happening like that in some instances. But does it happen when people are being taken to court? Guys, I need a reference. I can't just believe what this judge is saying. Has anyone seen such a case where people were supposed to go to court and they were ambushed by AK-47s and then they escaped and they were never found? Can someone please get me that?
Look,
Oh my God!
Look,
I can't believe he still continues to pull these stunts right in front of us.
I'm tired.
He can believe that happens, that the accused, when they are supposed to appear at court, they can be kidnapped. However, he has trouble and difficulty believing the very same police are capable of torturing accused persons to confessing and to signing confessions. It's like he's not even considering it in his mind. So does anyone know also? I want to ask you a question, guys. Do you know what happened to the police officers that beat up Steve Biko? Did they admit that they did it? And what happened to them? Okay, can anybody who remembers what happened with that case, can you please help me out? Use the WhatsApp line and give me that information.
instead of defending Steve Biko, he was busy taking notes when to use it in court.
Amahloni game. Cho, this judge is embarrassing us. We've come so far. We've come so far as a nation, and he's busy out here in 2023 embarrassing us. So the judge also spoke of a court proceeding that apparently allegedly happened not so long ago, where the judges were now found ducking and diving, going to the wardrobes to hide, and apparently two female officers were shot to death.
Oh no!
So when he was asking for comments from the defense counsels,
forcing
Mshololo
them not
cracked
to
a joke.
actually. No, I'm sure it was not. I understand what it's annoying. It's annoying.
She cracked the joke and said, "My lord, at least they were not forced to sign statements." Something like that. I found it funny.
Guys, Mrs. K is one of our subscribers. In
Hi,
fact,
Mrs.
someone who's she's been here. Someone who comments here is a subscriber, because you can comment if you're not a subscriber.
No, guys, you must subscribe.
So, guys, love her. She's been here. It's not the first time I see her.
Yes.
I've shouted her out. I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Mrs. K, I've seen Mrs. K quite a lot before. And guys, yes, if you're not subscribed, you can't comment. We are trying to avoid the robots,
attack
the bots,
that people. So you guys here are family.
and we have a proper conversation, because you'll find weird stuff happening in the chat, and especially if you're not monitoring, a lot goes down. Even scammers, they embed themselves there. So no, you have to subscribe so that if you are not behaving, we know how to handle you. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So yes, he said that Advocate Mshololo said, "At least, my lord, they were never forced to make statements." So I found that was funny, but Rata was upset.
It was not. It was a chap. Cause wapa.
But he always cracks jokes. Does he want to be the only one who's
Those are
cracking
not jokes. They are cold jokes.
And Mshololo throw the cold joke as well.
Exactly.
So he must laugh. Why
So
is he in his feelings?
that would mean that those are not jokes that he's cracking. Now he feels how it feels to be on the other end. He's like, okay, no.
He's like, no, please. You must have compassion or whatever. I'm like, I suka.
DJ, I will take callers if you apologize to Mrs. K. Then I will take callers. Let me see.
Bamenze send Mrs. K, guys.
They
I
are
need you
they
to
are
do
busy
Mrs. K.
saying no. Take callers if you apologize to Mrs. K. These good people took Sbia to change his pens but couldn't allow him to take his ID. This is not powerful to him. Magistrate. Yayazi kulumela nje. He also didn't need permission from a supervisor. Sounds like a police officer who disregards rules and above the law. Buthelezi said something about the BMW 1 Series. BMW 1 Series. Right? Hi guys, something is not adding up with the arrest of 1 and 2. In 2020 May, according to Zungu, he had already held several meetings with Ginindi and other senior detectives regarding these guys. So why was Sibia arrested on an arrest warrant for drug dealing, not Meyiwa case, if Zungu had given Ginindi the kind of the information he testified on? And you have a point there. You really have a point. Green lies. Someone saying that.
Green lies.
Yeah. Guys, we are taking calls. It's going to be few people before I go. Can you believe that I still need to go do work? There's some work that I still need to go do.
There's no rest.
For me, yes. For me, there's no rest.
So yeah, guys, you can call in, please. Please call in. I want to hear what you guys thought of yet another sounding dodgy like police officer, in my opinion.
Oh, Zanzi, hello? Hello. Oh, Kosia.
Okay, caller, please hold on for a bit. Hold on just for a little while as we make the connection to the device that
We're making alternative connections.
Yeah.
Hello. Zanzi, hello?
Hello.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Cutting.
We can hear you.
We can hear you loud and clear. You
Right.
can shoot. How?
Zanzi, hello? Zanzi, hello? Hello? Right. Okay, this one is just quiet. He answered and it was like quiet. Zanzi, hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello, Njani.
Skolo njani?
Khona.
Yes.
Into ene problem yangayo ukuthi ubuthikizi. Bekakhuluma upasta bekakhuluma nomuntu le. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. Continue.
Yeah, right. Uma mfundisi khona umuntu bekakhuluma naye. Neko ukuthi lo muntu bambona kuphi. Kusho ukuthi lesi express ukele ekuseni no number 1 bebambhekile la hamba khona. Bafike kusibeka bebe khona ngomezeli. Kusabanye bebambhekile abanye bebabhili la asuka khona.
Yes.
Futhi laba bebafele imoto nebafake lezinto la inkabu lapha. Laba bahamba nabambhekile. Ngoba uthi ubona abanye yes amaphoyisa abanjike uniform ya ngaba kuthi bebamkhiza sokele la suka khona until abanye bahamba phambili.
Yeah, you've got a point there.
Yeah, ukuthi sabafuna ipasi ne bebazi ukuthi bafakile nje ngoba umuntu nombamba ne angeke ufike ipasi une warrant of arrest masifana umbamba hamba. and the other thing ukuthi yena angantshintshi ibhuruku i-printwood ngoba ehamba ama-chapter afake isicathulo sithi i-printwood. Yeah, lento le plastic into abasebenze no number 2 bafike bayifake le bathole something.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
lento le bayithi. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Sure. Well, let's see who's calling. I wanna disconnect this other because young Pambela. So I'm gonna use this one. It's pampering. You take this. Zanzelo?
Yebo.
Yebo. Yebo, sir.
Ngikhuluma no-Constable Zungu.
Yes, Zungu.
Constable.
Yebo, no, angijabulile ukuthi ngithathe i-call yami yebo.
Is this a prank? Is this a prank? Are we being pranked right now?
I know i-prank ngiyayidlalela. I know. Hayi. Ungichazile uZungu shem, hayi ungichazile ubaba uyebo. I know. I wish he comes back, man. I know. Laba abanye bayasibhora, man, because they are talking green lies one way.
Yeah, basitshela ngama green lies.
Green lights.
No, green lies one way, non-stop. No.
Yeah.
Bayasiceda. You know what? We are tired of this thing, man. I know it's a joke, man. It's becoming a comedian thing. Like Naborata, man. Rata is too much. It's too much. I think he needs to dye his hair and comb Abene Afronyana, man. Yeah, Ashani Afronyana. Yeah, Ababa Loya, man, he's too much, man. He's no more funny anymore. Uzegahle, but now he's too much. Yeah, he's too much now. He's exposing himself bit by bit.
Yeah.
No, I'm with the state in all of this. You know when the weaknesses, ne? They don't practice scripting, ne? You can see the look on his face. He gets irritated. Like you can see him. It's like he can stand up and say, "Hey, fool, man! I said you must say this." When you are saying this, yeah, you can see that look, that bitterness. And then if the defense comes with a strategic question, and then it'll be like, Ngomezulu, the weakness just said this, that.
Yeah.
When you are asking this, you are being impossible. Hi, man.
He takes that frustration to the defense because
you understand, my brother.
A question that makes someone look weak.
Guys, we are watching generations there. It's becoming a generations. Taumukhale is the judge. It seems like these people are dating Malo and the judge. Aye, man. They are dating these guys.
No.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
It is alleged.
No, yeah. Let's give her the stitches, yeah.
Because in the chamber, no. Something is going wrong. They don't discuss this thing. They just kiss fast. They forget to discuss, and then weakness go quickly and say this 1, 2, 3 fast. Yeah, and they forget to say this, that, man, it's a joke, guys.
Why are you stressing me? Why are you stressing me?
No, because no, man.
These are people of the law. We are dealing with.
But
These are people of the law.
We are tired of them.
I withdraw the statement on your behalf.
Sorry, my lord.
Withdraw it, please.
Yeah, I withdraw the what I'm saying. Can I rephrase?
Please.
Yeah, let me rephrase. My lord, I meant to say, Uguti, these people, they are engaging in the chamber.
You won't let this thing go.
Yeah, here by cut, guys. Let me give others a chance.
Bye, guys.
No,
bye,
it's alleged, guys.
We
Mzansi,
cannot
hello.
do that. No.
Mzansi, hello.
Really, how are you?
We're good. How are you?
I'm good, Chief.
Yes.
You know, now at this point we have a problem of people who didn't follow this case from the start.
Mm.
You know why I'm saying this?
Yes.
If you are watching this trial within a trial,
Yes.
now it makes sense why Abu Tumelo Abu Zandi came in and pointed at accused number 2.
Mm.
If you follow this case from the start, you will connect the dots and make sense of why these guys came in and pointed at accused number 2. Yet, when they were doing those identity, they couldn't describe him. But they were able to point him at court. It's because of his confusion. I don't want to beat around the bush, man. The reason they were so sure when they came in and pointed at accused number 2. Now it's revealing itself why they were pointing at him, but they couldn't describe him to that lady who stink up or whoever who was using those identities. They couldn't describe him, but they were so sure when they were pointing at him. If you remember, he even went as far as asking Tumelo to come and look closer to him for this and lip test that he doesn't throw that shit. But they were so sure and pointing at him. If you look at this case now and you follow it from the start, now it makes sense why they were busy pointing at him. They were close. This guy confessed. When you go there, just point at him. They were told, you go to court, make sure you point at accused number 2. That was the task for Tumelo and Zandi. And if one has been following Senzo Meyiwa's brother, now it's easy to make sense of this case, man. This case is very simple. I have a friend of mine who's a law practitioner. He's an advocate. He's working here in Cape Town at High Court. The guy is so frustrated on why these advocates are not applying for 174.
Exactly. I was those. Yes.
If you MLE and Anonymous, you have friends who are practicing in law, just have a conversation with them. All of the guys are so frustrated. Even the guy who's been invited to analyze this case from Newsroom Africa, ENC, SFTC, he goes by the name of Elfin Hart. He's the colored guy. The guy has been consistent and to the point. There is no case against these guys. But if you've been following this case, just connect what I'm telling you. Now it makes sense why the Mandalas of this world came and pointed at accused number 2.
Yes. But
Take the main trial and see what is happening. Now, the main point I want to make, this trial within a trial, Baloy already lost it. Why I'm saying this? Because the main argument for these defense lawyers, they must face it. Okay, it's fine. You arrested someone at 1 o'clock during the day, but you detain him at 22 a.m. the following day. What were you busy doing with this guy if you were not assaulting him? That's the question. For me, that's the question. Thanks, guys. You're doing great work. We've been consistent, some of us, following this case from the start. We understand what is going on there. Don't worry about the guys, about Miss K. Just talk him and move on, man. Me, even there, by that YouTube chat, when I'm watching the live proceedings of the court, when I have a chance, I don't stress with people who are commenting nonsense. I just talk and move on. Because I know I've been following this case from the start. That's my advice to the family members. Don't frustrate with people like Miss K. Just talk and move on, man.
Yeah.
Now, you see these days, from last month, I've been on Twitter. All over, man, I'm enjoying this talk button now. Just talk and move on. Don't worry about who are not willing to use their critical thinking. They want you to think for themselves. They want you to agree with their nonsense. Don't worry about such people. Just talk and move on.
Okay. No, cool. Thank you.
That's my advice to family members. Just block and move on.
Thank you.
From your community chat now, I just block Miss K and move on.
Mm. No.
If she's leaving, she must know. Bombs from Cape Town, just block her and move on.
All right,
That's
no,
free.
cool, guys.
Thanks, man.
Thanks. I wonder what happened, but yeah, in that case, we normally, I normally say that we should, and I accept people who are coming to certain, but there are people, and this speaks to Jen, there are people who have a certain agenda. I think we have blocked 2 here. It's for now. I won't mention the names. 2. You know, you just come with a certain agenda and to just push a certain agenda, and in our platform then we block you. But angazi to Miss K utheni. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out. I think there's Miss K and there's Mrs. K. I don't know. Maybe they are confusing the 2, because I've seen Mrs. K, here, and then there's Miss K, maybe on the other side. Mrs. meaning Moshadid. Mzansi, hello.
Hi, Anno, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
Hi, yazini Anno, le case iyakhathaza. Nginembuzo la. Ukuthi uprosecutor Ratha.
Okay.
Uphethwe kuphi labangaboni ukuthi akenzi zona?
Uphethwe phela yibo abo lo yabona lo wathi mangabe ku icase inqamuka wafika wazoyihlala kancane wathi ukukhuluma yibo labo DPP nabo. Uyazi ngoba nayo la abobuthelezi futhi bona bangikwatisa ukugcina ngoba bakhuluma into eyodwa yinkabi zamaphoyisa. Hey, why bangaboni ukuthi uma umuntu ngeke ahlale 20 years 30 years umuntu eyiconstable uma kube kuna something right kuleyo department. Abobuthelezi nje basebenziswa yibo bokugcina laba. Le case ayindawo, le case embarrass yasikhathaza asilali, and mama ucabanga laba abantwana babantu inhliziyo ibabhlungu bo. Ibabhlungu.
Yo.
Hey. No, siyakuzwa.
Hayi Anno, niyawenza umsebenzi omuhle, siyawuthanda umsebenzi, engathi ngiyaqhubeka noma seliphelile le case ke niqhubeke kwi national prosecuting yethu cha. Ayenzizwa noma ungenamali la eSouth Africa awusinex.
Hayi, siyabonga. Siyabonga.
All right, ngiyabonga.
Thank you. For those non-Zulu speaking people, she just say we must continue. What we're doing is a great job, and then she's worried about, as a mother, worried about what is happening in court. It actually makes her feel bad. And then my question is, how much more of from Senzo's mother then? It's very bad. Mzansi, hello.
Hello, Mzani.
Sikhona njani?
No problem. Ukuthi ngifuna kwazi ukuthi the EMPD trainer because SAP in our conservative. Why that EMPD? Because in the ukuthi national law enforcement, enforcement akhona uthola kunemashots athi law enforcement. Ngikho ngibona ukuphelele babuya ebshoteni. Ngobenza lento leyo.
Hayi, asithemba ukuthi bazokuphendula lapha ku comment.
Ngiyakise comment yami ukuthi ngoba ngathi la sihlala khona ngisho indawo. Law enforcement igcwele kunemashots. Labo ebshoteni. Ngena law enforcement. Yes. Ukuthi benza lezi zinto abazenzakho.
Yeah.
Because umthetho abawazi. Yeah, if they got training ekufane ma-steps makosabela why lawa makosabela steps anavumi bakubugcina indaba nasebenzisiwe. why bangasebenzi wona.
Hayi, no, nguzwa kahle. Thank you. So basically, the question is, where do these people train? That's why they are making mistakes, because they don't know the law themselves. But yet they are enforcing the law. Mzansi, hello.
Hi guys, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm okay, thanks. I won't be long. Hey, I have a problem with Missy. Missy need to intervene, because I know he's the one who can make sense at this point in time, because wow. The judge today, he's busy telling the story. The story about the police being, oh gosh. And then the lawyers, they just laughed. Wasn't a laughing matter. They were supposed to say, yes, my lord, we do know that, but my lord, do you know about the police who's doing, mention everything that the police doesn't want to, but they didn't say anything.
Well, when Mshololo tried to intervene to that direction.
Yes, she tried. She tried. Just that Mshololo sometimes, she don't have a way of putting a point, like to make sense. Sometimes she I don't know what's wrong with Mshololo. Because Mshololo, she tried. I know she tried, but I don't think it was the right way for her to do it. I don't know. But she tried. I know she did. But what I know is, I don't care what is happening within the trial whatsoever. When the time for the judge to make a decision, he will make a right decision, because he knows if he doesn't make a right decision, what will happen next. So it's not like only us are busy with this case. There are lots of people who know much more about the law than we do. Okay, I can say I don't know anything. But there are people who will do something if this accuser innocent. We all know that. It's very clear. If I'm looking at Baloyi, he's not happy now. It's not like before, where he was smiling and you see that, hey, the guy, But now, when you look at the witness, you can see that he's not happy himself. He's not happy. So I'm just waiting for this thing to get done. And then they must call the people that was in the house. And then I'm looking at Kelly on Facebook. They continue with the life as usual, like nothing happened. That says a lot, hey. Okay. If I know that my ex-boyfriend was killed and there's a case that's going on, okay, we are not saying she mustn't sing. She can sing, but she's like very happy. Happy. Like nothing is happening. That alone tells you that they are certain that nothing will happen to them, but unfortunately something will happen to them, definitely, one way or another. But what I know what will happen at the end is one of the people who are allowed to lie because of Keninda, there's the one of them will get arrested, not all of them. There's the one that they will hate the most and say, no, it's actually this person did this. But they are not thinking that way because for now they are charging money, but they are not realizing they're putting themselves in danger at the end of the trial.
All right. No, we hear you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. All said, it's alleged. I still keep that and maintain that, and the views are of the viewers, not that we maintain the 70 Korab as the channel. But yeah, let's hear. If I missed your call, oh no, I didn't. Guys, as you can see now, I'm rocking alone. Honestly speaking, I'm tired. I'm just gonna take this caller. Mzansi, hello.
Hello.
Hi, sir. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. And you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just have two things on my mind. So, I'm not sure if it was accused number 1 or accused number 2.
Yes.
There was mention that they were picked up at Eratin, which is they said it's a building for police, right?
Yes.
But I live close to that place, right? Eratin doesn't have a police station. It's actually a SEPS where if they steal a vehicle and they impound a vehicle, that's where the cars are taken. So I don't understand what they mean when they took one of the suspects from Eratin when it's not even a police station. It's an impound center. And then the second thing is, I think it's time that the attorneys recuse this judge because he's starting to play a prosecutor role, which is not very good. I think this case, man, starting to get worrying, but yeah, all is good.
All is good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that clarity. Thank you. Right. So there's like a scrapyard for police SAPS, or something like maybe for EMPD, I don't know. So they took people there and they say, man. Right. Thank you, caller, for that clarity. We don't know these areas. You guys know, you are all over. Some of you are closer to that place. Tell us what you saw and not what you saw, because they're gonna call you for testify. Just tell us what you know in terms of that area and other areas where you've heard being mentioned. Mzansi, hello. Yes, sir. How are you? Ngikhona mfowethu, ungashaya nje. Ungavela udedele nje mfowethu, uthi nje unqamba.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
No, ukhuluma ngamaphoyisa lawa amamanga ngemphaphini. Ngingazi ukuthi iphoyisa mekubopha isigebengu iyabopha akwazi ukuthi sibe ne-right ukuthi kuhlamele isimo loshintsha. Ngoba ngihlezi ngibona ukuthi bathi mekubopha bathi hayi zikhuluma unkantolo. Even no driver la odrava kubiza ukuthi hayi odrava seboshiwe ukuba ndimoto. Le namhlanje ecourt futhi ukuthi futhi kahle kahle sisebenzimelekile ukuthi sihambe ukushiya umuntu ekhaya ukuze bahamba bosipha kahle ke kwenzeka kanjani yonke lento le ngemini idatha ngiyazivumela yonke lento nto le ukuthi ngiyathula community ukuthi show iqiniso.
Thank you. Right, I will interpret. The guy is simple saying that all he knew before there was this man testifying and telling us that actually gave this guy time to go and change. He only knew that they arrest you where they get you and they take you straight to the holding cells and they tell you whatever that you need to talk, you'll tell the magistrate. All of a sudden, they can treat you nice, go change. I can say, I want to go change in KZN, wherever I am. Please take me to KZN, and I go change, and they come back with me. Something is not right. That's basically what the guy said. If you didn't hear, I heard that the sound was not that solid, but I hope I captured everything. Right. Guys, like the video, share the video, subscribe if you're not subscribed, so that you can also comment here and interact with the likes of Chuku Ana, Snentlantla Pengu, interact with people like Sia and then Tuli Tools, there's Dingani, interact with Mulilo. People like Michael, Dipuwo, and CK Moyo, CD Mkwena, and you get a chance of making Vutali. I don't know if I'm correct, it's V, but I'm told that V is B. Yes, and Mimi, and there's Tebogo and DJ and Mrs. K, Zosbia, Snentlantla, again, Spa Masugu, and I think that's basically it. Derek, this is the last time. Zanze, hello.
Hey, no.
Hey, how are you, sir?
How's it, man?
Good.
All right, man. I'm just gonna be short, man. Mr. Anuman, please help us, man. What are the duties of a judge? And I'm asking because of can the judge object when the prosecuting is giving is questioning the witness, or object only if the defense
is
questioning the witness.
Okay.
So I don't know. Maybe if you can just enlighten us on the rules of a judge. You see, and again, because I'm seeing that I think he's affording the prosecution a chance to object, or because he always objects on behalf of them. Because as noticed, if he was just neutral, I don't think the prosecution would actually be objecting. Because I remember you were saying, I think last week you said, after he objects, that is when now Baloyi will jump in, as if now it was a state objecting. So I don't know, man. Enlighten us in terms of duties of a judge. Maybe we are lost. We don't want to point fingers where maybe we're not supposed to point fingers. But, I mean, the judge, the way I'm looking at, it looks like he's one-sided. He's standing with the prosecution. Is it how it's done? Because I've never seen him interjecting Baloyi when Baloyi is busy cross-examining the witness.
All right. No, cool. Thank you. I'll do so. Right. I'm no longer taking any calls, but I do take comments here. How do you pronounce this name? It's Nettee. This person is saying, I do not mention them. They are a loyal, and indeed, they are always on the comment section. I think it's a pronunciation issue, if I was to know how to pronounce that. But yes, you are a loyal person who's always here on the comments. Very nice, and in fact, interacting with people. Nettee. And I usually call names and I don't call no names. Blessings, I see you. But now today I've called you specially because I see your comment. That's how I know for sure that you are part of this. You are always commenting, interacting, more or less the same amount of comments as Sizwe and as Dingan and CK more or less. I'm forgetting someone here who's really also commenting. But tell me how to pronounce your name. Or maybe write the name that I should use. Then I will use that name. That's basically it. So let's get to duties of the responsibilities of the judge. Number one is being impartiality. Judges are required to be impartial and unbiased. They must make a decision based on law and facts presented in the case without any personal bias or prejudice. Right? Apply the law. That's number two. Judges interpret and apply the law to resolve dispute. They must have a deep understanding of the legal principles and statutes relevant to the case before them. And then number three, they must preside over the court proceedings. Judges preside over the court hearings and trials. They ensure that the proceedings are conducted fairly, efficiently, and in accordance with the rules of the court. Decide the case. judges make decisions in both civil and criminal cases. They may render verdicts or judgments, and in some cases determine the sentencing for criminal or defense. Defense. Legal research. Judges may conduct legal research to understand complex legal issues, to interpret and the proceedings, and hearing and arguments. Judges listen to arguments presented by attorneys, litigants, consider evidence, and make decisions, ruling based on the arguments and evidence presented. Issuing written opinions. In some cases, judges write written opinions explaining their legal reasoning and the basis of their decisions. The opinions serve as a legal proceedings and help guide the future cases. I would like to hear what Rata would write. Sentencing. In criminal cases, judges determine the appropriate sentence for convicted individual, taking into account legal guidelines and specifics of the case. Case management. Judges manage the process of the case, ensuring that the case moves through the legal system in a timely manner. Maintain order. Judges have the authority to maintain order in a courtroom, enforce rules of the conduct, address and disrupt any disruptive behaviors. Protect the rights. Judges are responsible for protecting the rights of an individual involved in the legal process, including ensuring the fair trial, the right to legal representation, and constitutional rights. Educating jurors. I don't know what is this. Trial judges instruct. Okay, this is an American one. This is an American one. So here it's a jury that they deal with. It's a jury that they deal with. So they educate these people. I guess that's what they do in America. But basically, if there's a jury here, I think they would need the judge to educate them. I don't know whether they do it beforehand or they do it later. How they have to look at the evidence that is given to them or presented in court. I think I didn't know that there's this educating that is needed. Settling dispute. Upholding ethical standards. I think this one applies to South Africa then also. But this is not what is happening in court. Continuing legal education. So basically judges are like lecturers in this court, in these streets of law. Oh yeah, thank you for. So I think I've tried to get something. Thank you for Caesar for saying it. So it's net. Yeah, I hope I'm saying it right. Thank you for correcting me there, because I didn't know. Thank you guys. It's a bye from me.